Good evening, my brothers and sisters. How are you doing this beautiful evening? Come on in to the dinner table. Your brother Tony is here and he's welcoming you to the dinner table. And also, some friends, come on in. We have plenty of room. If this is your first time meeting with the sisters and brothers at the dinner table, my brother and sister, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationship basically from a spiritual point of view. When I say spiritual, I believe strongly when you look in the book of Genesis, God had a unique relationship with the man Adam. Secondly, he had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. Thirdly, God presented the woman to the man. And in the presence of God, Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. That's the position that I come from. Now, if there anyone that comes to this dinner table and you have another alternative way of a relationship, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. But at the dinner table, my brother and sister, we basically talk about the relationship from a biblical point of view. And we go all the way back to Genesis, and it's documented that God created the man Adam and he created the woman Eve, and God brought the woman to the man. That's how I see it. So you can do whatever you choose to do if you have another way of looking at relationship, but you're still welcome to sit at the dinner table and share some of this good soul food with the rest of the brothers and sisters. How you doing, Sister Tierra? I see that you have sat down at the dinner table. Sister, I hope that you had a good day. Come on in, brothers. Come on in, sister. I talk on two different platforms. I talk on the book, and I also talk on the tube. Those of you that are on the book, I may say something to those on the tube, but you may not see the comments, and vice versa. Those of you on the tube, I may say something to those on the book. You may not see that comment, but still, we're all family here. How you doing, Sister Kirkpatrick? Welcome to the dinner table. Thank you, sister, for coming in and sitting down and getting ready for some of this good soul food. Now, we're about to get into something very special tonight, my sisters and brother. As you know, like I stated, I talk about relationship. But tonight, there's a question that we need to get an answer to. There's this one question that we need to get an answer to. When you look at the menu, my brother and sister, you see what's on the menu. It's a relationship. Does the one really exist? This is on the menu for tonight, and we're going to go through the menu and see, does the one really exist? When we talk about does the one really exist, we're talking primarily does that certain man exist for that certain woman, and does that certain woman exist for that certain man? This is what we're going to break down tonight at the dinner table. Now, before we get into the main course, we're going to go to the appetizer. And when we say the appetizer, we're going to go to God's word. When we go to God's word, we are going to the book of Proverbs. As you know, my brother and sister, the book of Proverbs is basically was written by King Solomon. King Solomon was the third king of Israel. You had his father David. David was the second king of Israel. So Solomon was the third king. Solomon is known as a man that has a lot of wisdom. There was no man that lived before Solomon that had the type of wisdom Solomon had. There's no man that lived during Solomon's time that can match his wisdom. And there's not one man that came after Solomon that can touch his wisdom. There was just this one unique man other than God himself. Because God is the embodiment of wisdom, but we're talking about a plain man, and we talk about King Solomon. So King Solomon, my brother and sister, he was inspired to put this book in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs is a book, my brother and sister, where you can get wisdom, knowledge, and instruction on things when it comes to life. So I really recommend, my brother and sister, that you go into the book of Solomon. If you really want to know how some things really operate in the world, go to the book of Solomon. And I also recommend the book of Ecclesiastes. King Solomon wrote that too. But Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. That's Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. And it is written, it say, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. I'm going to read this again from Proverbs 3. That's chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. Listen to what it say. As it is written, it said, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not to thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall make direct thy paths. Now, why is it saying that? What does trust mean? Trust means have confidence in the Lord. Every man and every woman should invest 100% in the Lord. Now, it's unfortunate we cannot invest 100% in another man and a woman. We can't do that because we know a man and a woman, you could be right in a relationship, but that doesn't mean you're perfect. So all trust go into the Lord, but you still can have a high level of trust for a man or woman that you are in a relationship with, but never 100%, because you need to understand that man and woman, they may be right for you, but they're not perfect. Okay, so we trust in the Lord with all thy heart. What does all thy heart mean? That means all your soul. What is your soul? Your soul, my brother and sister, is your mind, your will, and your emotion. That's on the inside of your body. That's what it means. Your heart. It is not talking about that heart that pump blood, because some people say, I feel it in my heart. That's the physical heart. That's the physical heart for your physical body. But that's not the heart that the Bible is talking about. It's talking about the part of your soul. And it said, lean not unto thy own understanding. So my brother and sister, when it comes to anything in this world, but we are narrowing it down to a relationship. Whatever you have heard, whatever have passed down to you, my brother and sister, whatever you have seen on TV, whatever CD you have listened to, whatever lecture you have went to, whatever retreats you went to, we're going to have to put all that aside. It said, lean not to thy own understanding. You go to the Lord for understanding. Just like Solomon asked the Lord for a wise and understanding heart. That's where we go to get understanding. We don't depend on what your own thinking, my brother. Don't depend on your own feeling, my sister. You go to the Lord. And it said, in all thy ways, acknowledge him. It said in all our ways, everything we could do, even when we're going to pick up a toothbrush, and even when we go to the store and we wanted to get a toothbrush, we need to ask the Lord, Lord, which toothbrush should I get? You see, some people think that the Lord too busy for small things. Some people think you just go to the Lord for big things. No, you ask the Lord for the simplest things. Not only the big thing, the simplest thing. So it's saying, all thy ways acknowledge him. Acknowledge him mean that he exists. Always acknowledge the Lord. And then it said, and he shall direct thy path. If you go to the Lord, my brother, if you go to the Lord, my sister, he is the light. And he will light your way. So that's what it means. Now, my brother and sister, there are so many men out there. And there are so many men out there that are going from woman to woman, while there are so many women out there that are going from man to man. Now, the question, my brother, and the question, my sister, why do some of the men and why do some of the women continue to go through this vicious cycle of going from one relationship to another? Why some of these men and women, they can't find no rest? Why some of these men and women, they searching for that perfect person when they don't realize that that perfect person doesn't exist? But the question is, most of them, my brother and sister, are seeking the one. Now, there are some sincere men out there, and then there are some sincere women out there, that are looking for the one. Now, the one, my brother, and the one, my sister, is that special woman and that special man that is out there somewhere. How you doing, mother? Welcome to the dinner table. I'm talking to some of you single brothers, and I'm talking to some of you single sisters. My question to some of you single brothers, single sisters, do any of you brothers and or any of you sisters, do you believe that there's a special and unique person out there for a person? Just let me know this, my brother and sister. Do you believe that there is someone special out there for a certain man or a certain woman? And not only that, let's bring it to home. Do you, brother, believe that if you have a desire for a woman, you single brother, if you have a desire for a woman, do you believe that there is a special woman out there for you among all the women out there in the world? And some of you sisters, the same question to you. Do you believe that out of all the men out there in the world, there is this one special man that could be for you? Just think about it. Is there a special person, brother, or is there a special person, my sister? Now, listen to this, my brother and sister. In our society, the world would say this. This is what the world would say, my brother and sister. They would say that men outnumber women. Therefore, women should accept a man for having multiple women. And the women should accept that type of behavior. However, my brother and sister, the concept is from the pits of hell. This is part of Satan's system. How you doing, my little sister Renee? Because Satan is the god of this world. And I'm going to prove what I'm just talking about. Those of you that are coming in tonight, on the menu for tonight is relationship. Does the real one really exist? Does the real one really exist? And when I said the real one, I'm talking about that certain man for that particular, that certain man for that special woman, or that special man have a particular woman that he's desiring to have. That's what we'll talk about on the menu tonight, okay? But and I'm going to reiterate, in our society, the world will say, and I know a lot of you brothers have heard this, and a lot of you sisters have heard it, women outnumber men. And since women outnumber men, this is what the society pushing on women in particular. Women should accept a man having more than one woman or many women. That's what society trying to brainwash you women to believe, right? And you're supposed to accept that type of behavior. However, this concept is from, like I said, is from the pits of hell. Now, this part is, the world is a part of Satan's system because he is the God of this world. When I say God of this world, we talk about small g, small o, and small d. Now, why would I say that Satan is the God of this world? I'm talking about the system. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the system. He is the God of this world. And to prove my point, we're going to go to God's word. We're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. Again, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. It's in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. And it is written, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them who believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. Now, the Bible say that Satan is the little god of this world. That means the system, how things are ran. And again, it say, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them who believe not. Now, would the real God blind you? The real God don't want to blind you. The real God want to give you light. But Satan is called the prince of what? Darkness. So when you in the dark, you looking for things. You remember what Jesus said when he was down here, the blind shall lead the blind. Now, who blind the blind? Satan blind the blind. So it said, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. Now, my brother and sister, I am about to expound to you, not explain the truth on the topic relationship. does the real one really exist? If a man or a woman, my brother and sister, desire to be in a relationship with the right person, not the perfect person, but the right person, that person does exist. The right person does exist. The perfect person doesn't exist, but the right person does exist. If that man or if that woman did something differently than what he or she have been doing in the past, going from one relationship to another relationship. How you doing, Sister Monica? Welcome to the dinner table. If that man and woman have a lifestyle of going from one relationship to another relationship, and they continue to fail, what is the common denominator? The common denominator is that man who keep going through a series of relationships, or is that woman that keep going through a series of relationships. So the common denominator is that particular man or that particular woman. They keep going from one relationship to another relationship. They could park at one relationship for some years, but they're not content. They're never content. But if that man and woman, they continue to go through these cycles, it's not going to get worse. It's going to get worse. But I can tell you this, how a lot of men, how you doing, Sister Sherry Smith? Welcome to the dinner day. I can tell you this, brother, listen to me tonight. The question is, does the one really exist? Yes, she really exists. The one really exists. Sister, listen to me. You sister, does the one really exist? Yes, sister, the one really exists. Now, some of you brothers and some of you sisters right now say, okay, Tony, you doing all that talk. You married to Cinderella. So how can you say that? The reason why I could say that, my brother and sister, some of you single brothers, some of you single sisters, guess what? Your brother Tony, he was single for some years. Your brother Tony, he went through a series of relationships. And as you all know, the chronicle that I have shared with some of you, the reason why I have gone through some relationships, like I'm talking to you, I'm talking to the choir, okay? Like I'm talking to you. The reason how I could talk to you on this topic, because I have experienced it before. And I have shared with you, brother and sister, that I have been in some relationship minus God. I believe in God, but I was rebellious and I was trying to do it my way. So I have talked to different women at different times. I have. And you know why I was doing that? Because I was not doing it God's way. I didn't do it God's way. I thought I had all the sense. I thought I knew who should be the woman in my life. And you know what God did? For years, God let me go through that one, and that one. That's what God allowed me to do during my singleness. At that point, my brother and sister, as I always tell you, my brother and sister, when you are single, you're a free agent. You're not signed to nobody's team. You're not signed to nobody's company when you're single. You're a free agent. So that's why I have to tell you, brother and sister, over and over again. Don't get it twisted. The only time you're committed to a man or a woman is when you move to that part called engagement to get married, or you could bypass the engagement and get married. So that's how a lot of people, they mess up, because they think that that's my boyfriend and my girlfriend. And you look at that man or woman like they're your husband, your wife, which before God, they're not. And I can understand, my brother and sister, because I was thinking that way once upon a time. But as the Lord allowed me to grow, I see the difference from God's point of view. Like I always say, my brother and sister, God holds a couple more responsible when they call themselves serious, committed, and especially when they move towards the covenant relationship. Now, brother, let me tell you this. Back to the early part, how society say there are so many women to one man. Now, with that particular saying, a lot of men have used that to beat women down, like you should accept that a man should have more than one woman. Yes, there's documentation going all the way back to Genesis. And I think the first guy that had a whole two women. His name was Lemire or something like that. You spell it Lemech. He's in Genesis. He's the first playboy that's documented in the Bible. And it's all the way back in Genesis. He had two women. And we know there's a history. We seen that King David had more than one woman. We seen that King Solomon had more than one woman. It's documented. But let me tell you this, my brother and sister, God never intended for a man to be married to more than one woman at the same time. He never intended on that. If God really intended on that, my brother and sister, guess what he would have done? He would have made more than one woman for Adam. That was not God's pattern. But when man and woman, they went whack and made a crucial decision, that's how all this stuff happened. Now, some men and women would say, okay, why would God allow King Solomon? And why would he allow King Solomon dad and some more men that's in the Bible, why would he allow them to have more than one wife? That's a question that you got to ask God. God allowed them to do it. But let me tell you something. You see, God gave us a free will. But you see, with the free will, we could bring more detriment to ourselves than doing it God's way. You understand? And then some of you sisters, you put up with that concept that some of you sisters, you get complacent and you accept the fact, okay, there are more women than men. How you doing, Sister Flo? Welcome to the Dem Table. Some of you sisters say, well, okay, well, they say they got statistics saying that there are more women than men. So a woman needs to understand that, hey, we need to share this man. And that's how some women be thinking. We need to share a man. And some men play on that. But I'm here to tell you, my brothers, and I'm here to tell you, my sister, that from God's point of view, brother, if you desire that certain woman, and sister, if you desire that certain man, guess what? God has the ram in the bush for you, brother, and he had the ram in the bush for you, sister. Yes, brother, there are a whole bunch of women out there, but brother, you don't know which one is for you. Let's be honest, brother. You really don't know the woman that God created for you. Sister, you really don't know the man that God wants to find you. You don't know that. You brother don't have the knowledge of the woman for you. You sister do not have the knowledge of who you want to find you. And we could go backwards now. We could go in reverse. Like I said when I started out doing the appetizer. Remember when I said this? I said in Proverbs chapter 3, 5 through 6. Proverbs chapter 3, 5 through 6. Proverbs 3, chapter 5 through 6. What did I say? As it is written, it said, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not to thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. So, brother and sister, if you trust in the Lord in everything in life, don't leave your relationship off the table. Include your relationship when you go to the Lord. Because you're supposed to trust the Lord. The Lord, brother, know the right woman to put in your life. Sister, he know the right man to find you. The Bible said, and lean not to thy own understanding. Brother and sister, don't go about what you think about it. Don't go by how that person look, what that person got. You don't go, those are superficial. You need God to choose a man, sister, or brother. You need God to select that woman based on, because God reads the heart. Man cannot read the heart. A woman cannot read the heart. God read the heart. God knows what right woman is for you, brother. God know the right man that for you, sister. So I always say to my brother, sister, never go to God with a top 10 list or a list of how that man or woman should be. Don't never do that to God. What you do, that's why it said trust. It said trust in the Lord with all their heart. You trust him. You let the Lord know, look, Lord, I have a desire, Lord. If you're a man, I have a desire to be with a woman the way you want me to be in a relationship. And then, sister, you tell God, I have a desire, God, to be in a relationship with a man the way you want me to be in a relationship. So you got to give God all the control and the trust. And in God's time, not your time, brother, and not your time, sister. Because let me tell you something, my brother and sister. If you decide to do it in your time, I always relate this back to when the children of Israel rebelled against God and tried to do it their way. When they crossed the Red Sea and they ended up in the wilderness, they could have been in the promised land in 11 days. And if you do like, and that's for the reason why that was in the Bible, my brother and sister, it was for our learning. If you do it your way, you're going to be in your own wilderness for a long period of time. That's right. You're going to be going in a circle. You're going to be going in your own wilderness, brother, with different women. Sister, you're going to be going in your own wilderness with different men. But if the children of Israel would have obeyed God in the wilderness and did not become a stiff-necked people, they could have got to the promised land in 11 days. There are some of you brothers and sisters right now, when you look at your dating past in the past, you wasted a whole bunch of your time. You didn't waste God's time. You wasted your time. Brother, you was seeing this woman, that woman, you were wasting your time. Sister, the same thing, you were wasting your time. But some of you, brother, I can understand, and some of you, sister, I can understand. I was doing that. I was in the wilderness for some years going in circles, so I can relate to some of you. I was in the wilderness until I decided to do it God's way. And when I did it God's way, God brought my ram in the bush for me. And he would do the same thing for you, brother. And he would do the same thing for you, sister. Don't you, brother, let me know this. Do you believe that God got a ram in the bush for you when it comes to a relationship? Sister, do you believe that God have a ram in the bush for you when it comes to relationship? All you have to do, my brother, sister, is very simple. The Bible say this. It said, delight in the Lord. And it said, when you delight in the Lord, he will give you the desires of your heart. Just think about it. If you do this, my brother, if you do this, my sister, if you delight in the Lord, he will make it happen. Let me tell you this, my sister. Yes, there are a whole bunch of women out there. In society, the media and everything will tell you it's so many women, so you all need to accept sharing a man. And that's how a lot of women do right now. They believe that they should share a man because of what society say. But what you don't understand, sister, you're being manipulated. That's one of Satan's tactics. You're being manipulated. Because let me tell you something, sister. There is a man that don't want more than one wife living up under the same roof. There are some men that don't want that. There are some men that want to concentrate on you. There are some men, sister, that want to give you and spend time with you. There are some men out there, sister, that want to talk to you in a loving way. Sister, there are some men out there that want to treat you right. There are some men out there, sister, that want to believe in just because it's you, baby. There are some men out there, sister, that will lay down his life for you. And brother, there are some good women out there. Some of you, brother, there are some women that will follow you as you follow Christ. There are some women out there, brother, that are willing to represent you whether you rhyme them or not. There are some women out there, brother, that want to help you with your purpose that God put in your heart. There are some women out there, brother, that know they understand what a team means. There are some women out there, brother, that's not all about what you have. There are some women out there, brother, that want to love you for you, not for what you have. So you got to understand that, my brother. You got to understand that, my sister. The one does really exist. But the only way you're going to meet the one is you got to acknowledge the Lord, because the Bible say on the tail part of trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your understanding. This is how it ends. It said, in all thy ways acknowledge him. You have to acknowledge the Lord. And then this is what it say. And this is how it closed out and said, and he shall direct thy path. That's it, my brother. That's it, my sister. So the right one does really exist. Stop going in a circle in the wilderness. Get to that mate in 11 days. In God 11 days, not your 11 days, in God 11 days. And I hope that you understood what I was saying, my brother and sister. There is really the one. God has the right one for you, brother. He has the right one for you, sister. God has that ram in the bush. My brother and sister, I hope that you enjoyed this meal tonight. My brothers and sisters, go ahead and fix this extra plate and take it with you and share it with some more family members and friends, okay? Go ahead and make your comment, like what's on the menu. And those of you that are on the tube, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification button and just share it, my brother and sister, because if you really, there is a right man, sister, and there is a right woman, my brother. He won't be perfect, sister. She won't be perfect, but you can get the right one if you allow God, brother, to help you find a woman. And sister, if you allow God to cause the man to find you. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. I hope that you all have a good evening. Thank you for coming to the dinner table. I hope that you enjoyed this soul food for the night. I enjoyed sharing it with you, okay? I love you all so much. You all have a good night. Peace out.